Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and I am your host. And I was just about to tell you that it is a very gray day in Toronto, and then the sun sort of peered out from behind the clouds, and I was able to see a little bit of blue off just out the window in the sky there. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to be a nice day after all, although I do suspect it's still going to be a little bit chilly. Like many of you, I am asking, where is spring? It has just totally gone for a hike somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know, somewhere. Do you know where spring is? If you do, just tell it to come on back because a lot of people are missing it, especially me. I did notice some crocuses in the garden last week, so that was a nice sign that spring might be near, but the snow the other day, just a little bit off-putting. We often do get at least one little tiny snowfall in early April, so I guess hopefully it will be here soon. As I mentioned earlier, I am your host Tracy. You can find me as Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. And welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting. Today I am going to talk about some sewing, and I'm also going to talk about some tea. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope that you have a chance to sit down, relax, and have a little listen to what I have to say. And if you are a returning viewer, I know you know the drill. You have your requisite cup of tea, coffee, glass of wine, whatever it is that you are drinking, and you've got your project of choice that you are going to sit down, cuddle with as we have a lovely little chat about all the crafty things, which to me doesn't seem like much, but a little bit that I've gotten up to this week. So let's start off with some tea time. I am drinking out of my ceramic camp looking mug. I have shown this on the podcast before. It's a nice big warm mug, and today I am drinking Sloan tea. I thought, did I forget to bring it with me? And I've shown this one on the podcast too. This morning I decided that I was going to drink some lovely Sloan Heavenly Cream, which is in this gorgeous tin. And Sloan is a tea that is blended in Toronto and is well packaged. It smells delicious. I wish you could smell it. Black tea, bergamot. It is a cream of Earl Grey. I have had it on the podcast before. I love it. I have sometimes shared a little bit with some friends in little packages I may have sent them, so they might get a bag or two of the Sloan, generally in the Heavenly Cream, because it is my favorite Sloan tea. But she does have a lot of other blends of tea as well, which are just as nice, but for me, that one's my favorite. Anyway, I have got my requisite cup of tea, and I am ready to start talking about some crafting. I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead, and let's start talking about some crafts ahead, and cheers. So let's have that quick sip before we start chatting. This week, my sewing machine got some FaceTime, which was so fun because that means we have a Material Girl segment this week, and I am going to talk a little bit about a dress that I started not quite a year ago, but last spring, late last spring, and I started doing some finishing on the edges that I really didn't like, and I then put it aside for a little bit to think on what I wanted to do. I then made a date with my seam ripper back in the late fall and ripped it all out, and now I have started doing the finishing that I decided to go with, and I'm so much happier. So I am doing this pattern here, and this is a retro Butterick pattern. It is B4790. Had to look at that. And I am doing this version here, so the straight color with the trim in a different color. And if you've tuned in before, you may have seen this dress. This is my Not a Real Green Dress, green polka dot dress. And have I ever mentioned to you that I really like green and pink? I don't think I have. Well, maybe I have. But I like green and pink a lot, and I am loving the choice of going with a pink trim with this dress. So this is what I got up to yesterday. I did the neckline in a double folded bias tape in pink, and I did one armhole, and I did the other armhole with a little loop on the end, although I forgot to put the loop on, so then I had to go add it afterwards because I wasn't really paying attention to the pattern. I just kind of knew what I needed to do, but why read instructions? While the trims are done on the two edges in the back, I have not done the two edges in the front yet. My back was getting a little bit sore, and I decided I wasn't in a rush. I'm probably not going to wear this till May because it won't be warm enough anyway, and I wanted to just make sure that I was doing it properly in my back. As I said, it was getting a little bit sore. But before I did sign off of my sewing machine for the night, I did pop a button in the corner of the back, and I do have the loop here, and so now the back does up like that, and I still have to do the part that does up in the front, and I have to figure out which buttons I'm going to use as decoration. I'll figure that out soon, but for now I am just so thrilled to have done even the tiniest bit of work on this dress, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it all ironed out and finally having a chance to wear it. I do have a breakfast event in early May, and I'm thinking I might like to wear it to that event. So for now, it is coming along. It has not gone into complete hibernation, and you will see it in the next few weeks or so, hopefully all finished and with a hem, because yes, that's the hardest part for me. I don't know. Is there anyone that really likes to do hems, I wonder? Anyway, that is Material Girl. I am just really wanting to get onto my sewing machine a little bit more. I've got some beautiful fabrics, I've got some beautiful patterns, and I just want to sew. I just need more time. This week on My Favorite Things, I really don't have a lot to share, and that's because my knitting mojo has gone on vacation, and I have no idea where Mojo has gone. Mojo may have gone for a tropical island vacation, may have gone to Baffin Island. I have no idea. All I know is it is not here with me right now, and that is stressing me out a little bit because some nights come home and I am staring at my knitting, longing to work on my knitting, or picking up my knitting, and it takes me 2 hours to get through like the smallest little bit because my mind is just not fully connected. So I hope Mojo doesn't go on a very long vacation because, as I said, it's stressing me out. But I did work on a couple of things this week, and the first thing is in my Fun Pink Hazel Butterfly bag, and in order to encourage Mojo to come back, I've even put chocolate in here. This is a project that I started about a week and a half ago, and I shared my first sock with you last week, and this is, I'm calling these my big puppy socks because these are socks for Isaac. So first one is done, and the second one I started, and I'm going okay, but I'm not going gangbusters. Anyway, this didn't quite line up perfectly. You can see that this has a little bit more length here, and I asked Isaac whether he cared if they matched or whether he would be fine if I just copied from here straight down, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit to the dark turquoise, and then I'm going to start the heel flap and do the gusset so it follows along exactly. And if this one's a tiny smidge longer than this one, it's not the end of the world. So this was my at work sort of grab in the morning whenever I had a chance at lunchtime to grab that's when I worked on this. A little got done, but not a ton. I did, I think, work on it a little bit while Survivor was on TV, because we do enjoy watching Survivor. And there cannot be any patterns going on when Survivor's on, because it's just too much goes on, too much thinking. So Vanilla Sock got a little love during Survivor. I forgot to share with you last week, this was the remaining yarn from the first sock. So it was a 50-gram ball of the Knit Picks Felici. That was one sock, and this was all that was left over. And of course, this is now the second sock, and I'm glad they sort of started in the same area, so they will sort of match, not perfectly, but close enough. But yes, my son has very, very big feet, but he's very excited to get some new socks. The next project that I'm going to share with you has been living in my Southern Sparrow handmade bag, and I cannot show it to you, at least in its entirety, but I will be putting up a spoiler alert. So if you do not want to see Clue 2, run screaming out of the room. Go now, quick, because I am going to put a picture of Clue 2 up here now. And I am loving how it is knitting up. I love that my Dragon Progress Keepers by Corner of Craft match my knitting so well. So at the end of Clue 1, I have my purple dragon, and at the end of Clue 2, I have my green dragon. And you will have to tune in, of course, that is if you are staying in the room for spoilers, to see what other beautiful Progress Keepers by Corner of Craft I have put on the other clues. It has been a lot of fun seeing everybody's yarn combinations coming together and looking through the spoilers. And it's been nice seeing them both on Instagram and Ravelry. I've kept my spoilers mainly to Ravelry. I've put a little picture of my dragon with maybe 3 stitches, which doesn't spoil much on Instagram. But I'm going to keep my spoilers to Ravelry for now until the full shawl in all of its beautiful glory, and it is beautiful, I'll put that out there once it is all finished and the last clue has come out, and I will pop a cover photo so that if you don't want to have it spoiled, you don't have to, because it's kind of fun when you're going through Instagram that if you want to have it spoiled, then you can slide through and make that choice yourself rather than having the photograph pop right in front of you and then, oh, I didn't want to see that. Because some people, they don't. I like the spoilers though. So that is the second project that I have to share with you this week. And I have one more project to share with you this week, and that is my Knit Me Baby One More Time, which I have chosen my yarns. I put a photograph on Instagram yesterday, and I wound them up yesterday. And I'm not sure that this bag is going to be able to hold this project for very long. I've just popped my yarns in here. I did do a little cast on last night, but I think I made a mistake, so I may just rip right back and start again. I am using some gorgeous yarns from Nora George, and they are Blue-Faced Leicester with cashmere and silk, so a blend that I haven't used from Tracy before, and I think I'm really going to like it. This is French Lace. This is April Showers, and I much prefer April Showers to April Snow. This one I have shared on the podcast before as a merino silk, but this is the BFL Cashmere Silk. This is Pollen. Yes, it is yellow, and I have knit with this color before. I did my rune shawl in this color, and I had it mixed with another color I'll show in a couple minutes. And this one here is Black Currant, and oh my gosh, when I was winding this, it is glorious. Just absolute gorgeousness. And then I am using Raspberry. And again, when I was winding this, just beautiful, amazing. And I did use these 2 colors on my rune shawl. So yesterday I popped a post on Instagram about the, I had the 5 and I said 2 of these colors are begging to be knit one more time. something along, knit me baby one more time. These two were saying knit me baby one more time because of the colorways. And yeah, one of them was yellow, which, as if you've tuned into the podcast before, I am not a huge fan of yellow. So we shall see where I put it in this sweater. So when I look at this sweater, I think I'm going to add a couple other colors in there because I only have one skein of each of the colors. At the very top right here, I am doing the raspberry. And as I said, I did cast on last night. I haven't done very much. I've got a little bit of short row stuff happening there. And there's a mystery 8 or 9 yards of yarn that will be added. I'll just have to read the instructions and figure it all out, and I will. So I did get that cast on last night. As I said, I may rip it out and start again because I think I did a wrap and turn, or I picked up the wrong wrap and turn. I don't know. Anyway, I want to do pink at the top. And then I'm thinking the body here, I want mainly this color, although near the bottom I may have to switch to another color, and I'm thinking the blue. I would really love to do the sleeve ends in the yellow. And then the cuff trim on the neck here and on each of the sleeves, I'm thinking French lace. But as I'm knitting, I may make some other decisions. I may keep the cuff and the cuff trim yellow here. I had originally thought of doing the neck cuff yellow, but I'm not 100% sure that I want the yellow that close to my face. I think I want the pink there, more a lighter pink. So I will figure it out as I go, but I do have my colors and they are all wound up, and I hope I can finish this sweater while spring is still here and that I get it done before the summer, especially because a short sleeve sweater begs to be worn in spring, summer, early fall, not in the winter. So those are the projects that I have to share on my favorite things this week, and wish me luck in finding that Knitting Mojo, or find him a one-way ticket, or her a one-way ticket back to me, because I don't like staring at my project bags. I just want to work. I just want to create. But for now, if you see my Knitting Mojo, please let it know I miss it. This week, I have some lovely things to share with you on brown paper packages, including a spoiler alert. But the first thing I'm going to share with you is made by the maker of my lovely, I solemnly swear I am up to no good bag. That is Southern Sparrow Handmade. And when you have a bag like this, you need a gorgeous notions pouch, because you've got the spell to open the Marauders map and make it work, but you also need to know how to make sure that you can turn that spell off just in case somebody, is coming that you don't want to see the secrets. So I was able to purchase this fun notions pouch with the Mischief Managed, and inside is this fun Marauders map fabric, and then the Southern Sparrow Handmade logo is in there as well. So it's always important to have a matching notions pouch to go with your bag. Absolutely. And another thing that I was really wanting, I had seen it on Instagram, and that's dangerous place, but I wanted this Marauders map DPN case, and it's got a fun little print inside. I didn't have any DPN cases, and I often avoid using my DPNs because I'm likely to drop them all over the place. So I wanted to try and see what it was like to use a DPN case. So hopefully I will try a pair of socks soon, and I will let you know what I think. And Tiffany of Southern Sparrow was very, very generous when she sent these to me. She not only sent me a fabulous tape measure, because I really have very bad tape measures, so I'm very, very happy to have this. She also sent me another DPN case, and it's got these bicycles on it, and then the Southern Sparrow handmade stamped fabric on the back. So I am excited to try these out, and that is the fun fabric inside. So maybe I can actually have 2 socks on the go. We will see. So, definitely very lovely things coming from Tiffany of Southern Sparrow, and there's even some cute little progress keepers and stitch markers on there as well. So very practical, and all I need now is for Mojo to come back so I can really, really get to work. Next thing I am going to share with you is from Emma of the Vanilla Squirrel. And just up on my picture is my knitting fairy. And as I said, Instagram is a very dangerous place. Emma was posting these gorgeous, gorgeous mermaids. And I do not know how they stayed as long as they did in the shop, because the day that they went up, I looked and I went, oh, I really, really, really love this. Oh, I really, really, really want this. And then I went back the next day, and the one that I really, really wanted of them all was still there. It's not there anymore because it has swum across the ocean, and it is here with me. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous mermaid. And she is going to go and live in my office. So she's got beautiful little shells, and she's wearing a scarf because it is still very cold even though it is spring, and she had to swim all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. And she has this gorgeous shimmery tail. I've left her in the bag just because the bag was, I wanted to show you the presentation was just so amazing. And she's so sparkly. She's got this cute little tail. There is a vintage ribbon that wraps around her tail there. All the sparkly tape. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to take her out of here and put her in my office so that when I am up there editing or just having some quiet time, look at that sparkly bow. I have no idea how she stayed in the shop as long as she did, because she is so, so gorgeous. And there were, I think, 4 or 5 mermaids that were in the shop. And this one was my favorite. I loved the color of the hair ribbon. How she stayed there as long as she did, I'll never know. But all I can say is she's a really good swimmer because she got here pretty fast. And she's going to live up in my office with me. And now I just need to figure out what her name will be. I'm always open to suggestions for that. But oh, so, so pretty. The rest of the brown paper packages segment is all going to be in full lockdown, spoiler alert. So spoiler alert, if you do not want to have the great characters of literature or the Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club, all from Nora George yarns spoiled for you, these are for March. Run screaming out of the room, cover your eyes, cover your ears, do what you've got to do, because we are in full spoiler alert for the rest of this segment. So the great characters of literature, work of literature for March was Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And these are the lovely, lovely minis. So the first one right here is Ratchet. This is Red Kimono. This is Daisy. This one here is Mrs. Hubbard. And the last one here is the First Class Lounge. So these are the minis of the March Club for Great Characters of Literature. And of course, if you are doing Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, you have to have the starring role, and that of course is Hercule Poirot, who is our star detective. And I'm going to have to pop this out of the packaging because I've got the other spoiler in this packaging too. So crinkle, crinkle goodness is happening here. Of course, the great character for the full skein and the mini has to be from The Murder on the Orient Express, Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, because of course The Murder on the Orient Express would never have been solved without him. So this is the beautiful skein of Hercule Poirot, and it's got these gorgeous reds and burgundies, and look at that shot of pinkish red there. There is green there. It is absolute gorgeousness. And then it has a lovely, not quite burgundy, not a dark burgundy, maybe a medium burgundy mini that goes along with it, but just a beautiful Hercule Poirot. And as I was growing up when I was a teenager, I loved reading all of the Agatha Christie books. So I really enjoyed last fall going to see Murder on the Orient Express with my best friends. So if I made like a handlebar mustache with my yarn, Hercule Poirot. The final spoiler that I have to share with you this week, as I'm being slowly pushed off the couch by Scout, is the Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club. And it is a fun colorway. Last week I wore one of my favorite striped sweaters, and it has this little tiny edging on the sleeve and on the neckline in this glorious neon color, which I can only describe as the perfect neon mix between pink and orange. I love it. And if I were to see a yarn in it, I would have to buy it because I just love this color. There is a tiny, tiny little spot of it in my skein, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, if I could have a whole skein of that color, I would just be in heaven. Even a mini would be wonderful, but I prefer a full skein. Then I could do like a whole neckline and all the cuffs. Oh, it would be so great. Anyway, let's get back to Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club. And for March, the colorway is The Mandrakes Have Reached Adolescence. And they are spotty. They are very, very bright. They are teenagers gone wild. And of course it comes with this fun pink mini as well. The color that I was telling you about that I love is right there. That perfect bit of pinky orange, I guess like a peachy neon. I love that color. A whole skein, oh, I would die. I would love it. But look at all those other glorious pops of neon that are also in this skein. Look at fun, fun, fun. So I'm thinking this would be a really amazing brioche shawl. So with a really dull color mixed with this, it would just be too fun. I love the Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club, and I think it's my favorite club that I belong to. Every month it's something different, and this month, total surprise again. So lots of fun, and guess what? We are out of things to share on brown paper packages this week. And you know what? Empty basket, probably a good thing. It's now time for some bits and bobs, and this is where I talk about anything, everything, usually not related to knitting, but today I'm going to start off talking about knitting, and I'm going to talk about my missing mojo. I know in the past it's happened before, and it's quite a scary thing when the mojo goes missing because I've got a really fantastic stash. I just showed you some amazing yarns that have come into my house, and when the mojo goes for a little holiday, I worry that I may have to find somewhere to rehome all of my yarns if I lose complete interest, because there is that fear that, what if this is it? And I know it usually comes back, but there is sort of that internal fear that I have that, what if it doesn't? So I will just patiently waited out. Yesterday, as I was sewing and just enjoying crafty time, I realized, I really need that creative outlet. I enjoy having Saturdays just to do creative things, but I'm the knitter, so when the knitting doesn't want to happen, it's a bit of a scary thing, especially when I'm up in my sewing room, which there are bins and bins of yarn all around me. It will come back, I'm sure of it, but as I said, there's always that little bit of a fear. What if it doesn't? So, crossing fingers that we will see it by next week, or at least the week after. Soon. In news other than knitting, it is always busy around here, and Isaac has been singing all of the hair songs still. He's really hoping that he does get to cut his hair. They've been using him to teach the other kids how to do drill because Isaac used to be in the Air Cadets a couple of years ago, so he's been working on drill with a lot of the students, but he really just wants to have a haircut, so he's hoping that he will get an adult role. But the songs still go around and around the house. On Tuesday, it's the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, and Isaac will be writing that. So he has a few booklets that he's been using to practice out of. He's been reading and doing some of the multiple choice sections because that's where he needed a bit of work. Nathaniel has been prepping for The Wizard of Oz and brought home the sheet for tickets the other day, so we'll be seeing that at the end of April. And then, of course, Isaac's show is the beginning of May, so it will be a very busy spring around here. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that is happening. I'm sure there's tons happening that I will then go, oh yes, I forgot about that. But for bits and bobs, Knitting Mojo, musicals, Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, that's all that comes to mind for now. And that's probably all my mind can handle right about now. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. I know it's been a bit of a shorter episode, but when your knitting mojo goes on holiday, there's not as much to talk about. Funny how that happens. Anyway, thank you again for spending time with me. I always appreciate the time you give to me. I wish you a wonderful week ahead with lots of knitting. Hopefully your knitting mojo hasn't taken a vacation on you, or sewing or crafting, whatever it is you love to do. And I wish you a calm, peaceful week ahead. Take that time for yourself, and I'll see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. And hopefully my knitting mojo will be back by then. Hopefully. Scout, do you think you could push me further off the couch? Do you think? Do you think? Thanks. Seriously? And you don't even stay up there. You are such a dog. Such a dog.